Welcome to Worth Your Time with your hosts from the nationally syndicated Bob and Tom Show, Kristi Lee, and the president and CEO of the Indianapolis Zoo, Dr. Rob Shumaker. Our mission to inform, entertain, and educate with guests from all aspects of life. We guarantee there isn't another podcast that features two hosts with such different backgrounds and discussions with remarkable people doing exceptional things. So let's get started. Here are your hosts, Kristi Lee and Dr. Rob Shumaker.
Hi, Kristi Lee and Dr. Rob Shumaker with part 2 of our Worth Your Time podcast. And Donnie Kizzee, in this particular episode, we're going to cover tattooing famous people and tattoo therapy. Donnie Kizzee's the best, and he's a wonderful storyteller. Enjoy. Have you tattooed famous people besides Chick?
Chick McGee?
Yeah.
Figured I'd go ahead and give Chick a mention. Oh my gosh. I tell him... I used to hear all the time that he mentioned me on the radio.
Oh, yeah, he does.
I don't think it's a matter of a tattoo to someone that was famous, because I haven't. It just hasn't been or worked out that way. But the people that I have tattooed is really cool. Like when the Olympics was here, I just tattooed like that Dara Torres.
Oh, cool.
And so the other two Olympians that were with her, they got their Olympic rings as well. Both of them Johns, and like John Moffat, and I can't think of the other one's name. Honestly, I can't remember too much people's names anyway, but
that's
surprised I remembered
hers. Wait till you get to be my age, hon.
But that was really cool. She was like the winningest gold medalist, and actually when John got his, he was like, Did you know, oh, you did Dara's rings. Did you know who she was? And I was like, yeah. I looked at it after the fact. And I was like, had actually recalled that. I was like, oh, yeah, I saw her on the cover of Time magazine. And then he said, while she was here, she was very much like the person, the liaison for that whole Olympic setup over there, because he was
the swimming team trials.
She was, until Michael Phelps, right? I guess, she was like the Olympic... As far as a U.S. Olympian, she was the winningest gold medalist, I think, as far as, for sure, for swimming. But so that was really cool.
That is cool.
And those are the types, because I've tattooed basketball players and football players. Oh, I could say I tattooed Jim Irsay a long time ago.
What did he get?
He got a horseshoe.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
A little tiny one.
Yeah, owner of the Colts, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. But that was a long time ago. And there's been, there's just been a lot of different folks like that I've tattooed, and I wouldn't say Jim Irsay is famous or anything.
He's pretty famous.
But see, I don't really know. I don't know how to gauge that anymore, because I think of when people say, have you tattooed someone famous? It'd be like, did you tattoo MGK? And I'd be like, nope, that wasn't me. MGK's ass wasn't coming looking for me to do that.
Have you ever been in a tattoo competition? Or do they have those? Is there like the gold medal for a tattoo artist? Or
no?
You have conventions, right?
You have conventions and stuff, and you can win awards for your tattoo can win an award for like at a convention. Like your tattoo can be like tattoo of the day, best black and gray, best medium sized turd. I don't know. You can get a trophy for all of that stuff,
right.
And it's all obviously there's gonna be a panel of judges that's gonna rate this compared to this and what happened in that particular day. So it's whatever. Getting the accolades and stuff like that,
You don't care for that.
So you must have done thousands of tattoos in your career,
at least.
So is it even answerable to say is there one that you're proudest of?
It's not that. There's some things as a tattooer that you do that you're like, oh, I would have never guessed that was your favorite. So there's no point in me saying I did this pinup one time and it fit really cool and it ticked all the boxes for me and it was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
And for me, technically, I did, like I didn't beat myself up over it.
Yeah.
Because every one of them
you're super
is
proud of
just
it.
painful.
That's what
Do you really beat yourself up over everyone?
God, yeah.
Do you never feel like you're
about the Xanax? I mean, it's daily.
Do you don't feel like you're good enough?
Yeah, if you don't, like, you're never gonna. It's a lot.
Sure, but
I love that though. That it's not complexity or size, or it's beauty for you. That's what made you proud.
It's like how good
technical
it can be
beauty.
technically,
Right.
right?
Technical beauty.
Because there's, it's everything. It's like anatomy. Oh, she has crossed eyes, or like she has 2 left feet. There's so many things that are like, people just they're just scroll and they're like, that's great, I love it, that's great. I'm like, oh, her feet are fucking backwards, like it's just like, how did you not notice that? But that's when I was saying like, you notice these things or black work, or when did the black work thing, and it's not that it didn't exist before, it's just that like social media and being able to reach more people throughout the world more easily in the palm of your hand has put all these things right in our laps, where they become like when you're like, oh, I knew a cool thing when I was a kid or whatever, and now it's on a t-shirt. So it's like that. But for tattooing, it's when you're saying like, oh, it exists maybe 5,000 years ago, there's been a lot that's been done.
Yeah.
A lot. And that's what I was intrigued by in the very beginning, is indigenous markings and all those kinds of things. And it turns out a lot of that is the same thing. It's just a social like pecking order. It's like what you do or how good you are at it. And those markings delineate you from whatever the next town or the next whatever village over or whatever.
Some people think that tattoos are therapeutic for depression, anxiety. How do you feel about that?
I would say it's definitely therapeutic for you, because there's like a big release of like that, whether you pay attention to that or not while you're getting tattooed. Some people just go through the process and they're not paying attention at all. And that's fine. Not everybody should get tattooed. But anymore, everyone's getting tattooed.
Who shouldn't get a tattoo?
Just there's, if you're that apprehensive and you found yourself at that point where you're like, I'm in the place, I might as well do it, and all these kinds of things, you're going to hate it. And if you keep trying to sell it to yourself, oh, I'm really going to love it. Some people aren't really that stoked on getting tattooed.
Right.
And then it's just a miserable experience for them. Being therapeutic is definitely, pardon me, there's a big release of energy there. And we're having a moment. I'm like, you're getting that, hopefully, my good energy, and you're putting out good energy. And so it's a total
And
thing.
you're creating something really cool that's permanent.
Yeah, for sure. We had a thing. I had them paint a thing on the up above my station. It says stay in your body. And it was a thing that was like, Ed Hardy had that. He had a sign of that in his station or something. But that's just like that can be like equally as a spiritual experience for you, whether you want it or not. But yeah. And then I had also heard at a later date that Ed really didn't believe any of that shit. So,
He made a fortune off of his tattoos. That's for damn sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's really like the greatest living American tattooer. It's such a huge influence on all tattooers, whether they even know it or not, or were recognized or not. Some of them would say differently, but they just don't know what
They're jealous.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Oh. Do you have a
such a
favorite
huge
tattoo
influence.
artist? Tattooer?
No, man.
Besides yourself?
That's definitely not me. That's not me
See,
winning awards.
I'm trying to pump you up.
I know you are.
Trying to make you feel better.
I'm
do
not
amazing
It's
work.
not going to happen. No, there's a lot. As many tattooers I've seen, there's so many that I appreciate. And I appreciate them for, I would love to get tattooed by this person at some point. Because they're killer tattooers. But that's what in and amongst tattooing, there's just a group of tattooers as well that I see their work and I can appreciate it from my eyes. And it's happens to be stuff that I would want to wear. And I would get something from them just because I know, like, I can see it in their work. Like, it's really good. Whatever they did on this person last week or this person 2 years ago or something, like, I just have those tattooers that I would get tattooed by them. But it's not like a favorite. That sounds like a psycho. I have one favorite tattooer.
I'm not insinuating that you're a
listening.
psycho.
I hope you're listening.
What are you thinking?
You're looking
over
at
there?
me. No, you have obviously an unusual profession.
I do.
think-
Thank you for saying that.
I get it, and I love it, and I understand that, having an unusual profession. And I'm guessing there's a list of questions you get all the time that you get tired of answering. But those are the questions everybody's thinking about.
Yeah.
And if you had to tick off a few of them, what are the things you want people to know? Because everybody's going to ask. Everybody's thinking the same thing. I think the pain one is there.
Of
What's the
course.
most painful spot? Everybody
Right.
wants to know that.
Really? You're saying you have a weird job too, and there are those questions that everyone
It's true.
asks you.
It's true.
It is
Oh,
true.
yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
true as shit.
Absolutely.
Do you have a bathroom? Do you have a phone charger?
Yes.
Like all of those things are like, yeah.
We're not going to handcuff you to the chair and not
I
let you
actually
up.
was thinking more like in terms of tattoo.
But yes, no, those are all the same things. But it's all of those, and then
Sorry, just
Have
so you
you
know,
ever tattooed-
the most common question at the zoo is, where's the bathroom? So that is, everybody gets that.
Yeah.
When you're walking around the zoo, the most common, hey,
Yeah.
excuse me, where's the bathroom?
and it steps down from there. Obviously,
I don't get that at my job. I get his Tom an asshole.
oh my god.
He's not really.
So I would say yes. It's like, have you ever tattooed anyone famous? Have you done those? What's the weirdest thing
Yeah.
you've done? What's your favorite thing you've ever done? All of those things are anymore. They're endearing. I try not to be like an asshole. I try not to view those things as like shitty questions
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people that you can go and see that definitely, well, they're going to hate the fact that you asked them that question.
Sure.
But anymore, it's pretty endearing because anymore, I also try and tell other tattooers, I'm like, hey, like when they're asking you that, like your ass was somewhere getting your first tattoo at
Sure.
some point. So I'm sure you asked the same dumb
Yeah.
questions that you think are dumb. But yeah, and at present, those are the big ones. Who's the most famous person? What's your favorite tattoo you've ever done? And it goes just as it does with your career and your time frame, because depending upon the number of years you have in it, you could, that favorite one could change for you if
Right.
you've got one that in your mind, if I'm pressed to say, it's this thing, it's this eagle I did, or it's this whatever. So that changes as you grow, just as much as anyone else's routine question course of whatever happens, and you say, oh, it used to be this, but now this is my favorite.
And is there a misperception you'd like to change?
None.
None.
I
People
love.
that surprises
people
me.
judge people with tattoos still to this day.
Oh, I
That
don't,
answer surprises me.
no, I don't want to see anything change like that. I'm fine with the way it all is. It's weird that people are. I'm okay that people that getting tattooed and I'm wearing tattoos or what. That's fine, but it isn't for everybody. But you do get people that kind of like approach you and you're like, oh, I really like your shit or whatever. And nowadays it's like, that's normal. That's just weird. But
It has
certainly
become so
when I
normal.
came to tattooing, if somebody had a fucking tattoo, you didn't ask them or tell them that you liked it. Like it
Oh,
wasn't.
really?
Did you?
Well,
Chris,
I-
when you saw a tattooed person, when
you know the first person that I really remember seeing that was really tatted up, and he's one of my music idols, is Brian Setzer. And when I met him face to face, I was like, oh man, he's got a lot of tattoos. But you're right, I didn't say, wow, that's a great looking tattoo.
didn't, right? But see, how long ago was that?
It was a while. Yeah, it was
But I mean,
20
even
years
in your,
ago.
In your youth.
In my
and when you
youth, I don't
ate,
think I ever saw anybody.
And you
with
never saw anyone with them. And if you
No.
had, you would have been like,
the only
"That's a fucking tattoo."
was a
This-
Marine thing. Like I would see the U.S. Marine Corps. I think
Right.
You'd
maybe
see-
as a
yeah,
kid.
It
military
wasn't a-
guys
World,
would have
World War
one.
II, because I'm old enough that I had family that was in World War II, and I can remember that. But that was it.
They'd have one.
Yeah,
They'd have like
one,
an anchor on their
one
forearm or
on
something.
their on their arm.
Yeah, and it was probably hidden too. You
Yeah.
weren't going out to dinners.
No,
but I
Dad
know
wore a shirt or
because like people's perception of that is like, you're not going to ask that guy. Go ask that guy about the dagger he has in his arm.
Did you get that in prison?
Yeah. But anymore, that's pretty much like standard fare. Like people aren't, it's so calm. It seems so common, but you don't get too many folks that are like, oh, I love all your whatever. It happens, but I wouldn't say even for today, not everyone's clamoring to tell you that they love all your tattoos. That's fine.
I probably blow it all the time because I do it all the time. When
Telling
I see
people that you love
do. When I see people and they have I say,
fine.
I love that.
And
I've never had a bad reaction.
But our modern society-wise, you're also probably not, like when I say that, like when you're younger or something, or
Sure.
If you were, I don't know, it's at a point when you were in a bar,
Right.
okay, and you're a grown-ass adult. I'm sure, like, seeing whatever perception of the evildoer that has one glaring tattoo that no one else in the bar has, that's not a person you're approaching to compliment on their work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So there's a levels of that. But I think, yeah, for sure, if someone's got it, like, it's certainly normal to, like, compliment that. We live in I'm in a weird time, too. I'm always shocked. But I tattoo people every day. Also living in Texas, living in Austin. Coming here now, not everyone's tattooed here, but everyone's tattooed. If you don't have any tattoos there, you're way out of place.
Really?
In Austin?
Yeah, for sure in Austin. I mean, you could ask Chick. I mean, he could tell you, like,
Right.
It's undeniable. Like, everywhere you're going, like, you're not going anywhere where you're whatever. Everyone in the service industry is full sleeves, and that's part of that, yeah. And then because that place is so great with tattooing, so there's so much good work there that everyone has the ability to have something that's like really amazing, really well thought out. It's not a myriad of things. Whereas here, you do see people that have sleeves and stuff like that, but it's not in our daily scope. Whereas there, like, it's so much a part of that city.
Do you have, I'm going to throw you under the bus.
Me?
Yeah. Because as president of
Are you
the
talking
zoo,
to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Do you have a policy that tattoos have to be covered on employees?
When I started there 15 years ago, there was a policy for that. And actually, I'll tell you the truth since you asked, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
So when I first started, I was walking around going, man, how come so many people have injuries here? Because they'd have ace bandages wrapped around, or they'd have the compression sleeves that looked like they'd had a burn or something. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of injuries here. And then I know it's true. And then I found out it's because they had to keep, or I'm like, wow, it's really hot out. Why do you have a jacket on? And I found out that was we changed it a number of years ago.
Yeah.
We do have a policy that it's not that you can't have it. You can't show something that would be inappropriate for kids.
Children. Yeah.
Anything that parents might find inappropriate for kids. Mm-hmm. And at that point, would you say, could you cover that?
Sure.
But yeah, that's about it.
That's cool.
Yeah, see, that's a tough one because obviously that could be anything.
It's true.
And the parent could just be complaining just simply because, this person has tattoos. I don't want my kid to see that.
Yep.
But
here's what I would tell you. That's our policy. That there has been no occasion where that has been true.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that is great.
We have not had
great.
anyone either complain or someone who said, yeah, I better keep this covered. No, it hasn't happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It should be. It's fine. Keep up the good work because those people need to get more tattoos.
Yeah.
At the zoo, it's all animal tattoos anyway, mostly.
I don't want to cut you off, but we've been talking for an hour. And is there anything else that you would like to say besides I am going to really give you a plug at where people can find you?
Where can people find you?
Masterwork Tattoo, 44 Virginia Avenue, Indianapolis.
Donnie Kizzee.
Yeah.
We have...
Going to ask for Donnie Kizzee.
Ask for anybody. There's 9 of us there.
And I've looked at the website. I haven't met everybody, but the work on the website is amazing.
They're all great.
Yeah.
They're all great.
Masterworktattoo.net if you want to check out their website.
Instagram.
And the phone number, and there's an Instagram and Facebook, and all that stuff.
What are you laughing at?
We have all that. I was letting Kristi talk.
The photos of your stuff's absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
Thanks. There's so much more. Like there's so many pictures of.
We'll come by the shop and see
man.
them. I'd like to.
We do. It's like keeping up with that stuff is. There's so many funny things about that. Oh, now my career I have to be like a social media guru.
We all are in that position, Donnie. Welcome to the world, and it's hard.
It is.
Yes.
You get what you put into it.
Right.
Some people definitely get a lot more out of it because they're doing a good job at doing it.
Yeah, they're influencers.
I got to tell you, I find, to me, tattoos are one of the most interesting topics ever. And this last hour has been so great for me because you corrected a bunch of things that I thought that were wrong.
I love that.
Some of your answers were so surprising to me. I'm so happy we talked to you.
I almost want to get a tattoo now.
You don't have your stuff with you?
We're just down the street though, at 44 Virginia Avenue, Masterwork Tattoo. Yeah,
I enjoyed it so much. Thank you
so
so much.
I enjoyed this very much. I have to say, if I had anything to say, you both were awesome. This is so awesome to get to hear me talk.
That's been awesome.
It's been great. All of it's great. I'm glad I get to share that stuff because this is all stuff that no one's asking me this stuff.
Really?
I'm
They're asking you where the bathroom
An hour's easy. I also talk professionally. I know you talk professionally,
right?
But doing that every day.
Well, so you do sit there and talk the whole time.
I try.
It's not like the dentist where you don't have something in your mouth where you can answer back, I guess.
Some people want to turn off that,
do they?
and some people are like cool with having a little banter, you know, and it's constantly reading the room.
Yeah.
With that, when you were asking about like, oh, is it therapeutic and all those things? Some people are just, I'm going to put these headphones on and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone's different.
I won't even go in there.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what,
Wait.
to me, that's odd. It seems rude to me that you're having someone do something. To me, it's like...
You'd want to talk, wouldn't you?
But
yeah.
because to me, if you're being tattooed...
That is the experience.
But I don't mean to sound weird, but it's like an intimate thing to me.
It is. All of it is.
It is. And so why would you like block that person out who's doing it? To me, that's odd.
You know what? I don't try and judge.
I'm not
part
judging.
Of people,
I'm just saying.
But I'm glad that you brought it up because it's annoying to me too. But I think
that sounded very judgmental.
No, I think you're going to get out of it what you're putting into it. I know that you think you just have to sit there. Like you're putting something into it.
Have the experience.
Yeah, and the experience is the whole thing.
Have you made lifelong friends by doing that? By tattooing people?
I would say
you're Seattle guy.
Yeah, we were good friends before then, but that probably would not have changed. But
and Chick doesn't count.
Chick does count in a big way.
Kidding. No,
that
I was
like
joking.
Such a. Also, I'll say this: when you're like, "Oh, it's Kristi Lee from the Bob and Tom Show," you didn't have to say from the Bob and Tom Show.
Yeah, I did.
But you did.
I did because
I know, but I just want you to know you didn't have to.
Well, that's very sweet of you. Now I'm going to blush a little bit, but
you can blush. That's fine. You didn't have to say that. And that was as big a thing for me, for him coming in and getting tattooed always. And that is like very much like a lifelong kind of bond. And there are certainly people that I have tattooed and made like a lifelong kind of thing where it's, whoa, we spent a lot of time together.
Connection, man. Yeah, absolutely. You got a piece of me.
I still have. There's ongoing work. I have a guy that comes from Texas, and he comes, and I have people. There's folks that come every year from Germany.
Oh, that's so.
Every year
for something new or to touch up what they have.
No touch ups, bro. Come on, they're perfect when I do them.
Here's a morbid question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but wait a minute. But don't you sometimes have to refresh color and so on?
You can, but no,
you don't have to.
You don't have to. No.
Some people choose it, but you don't have to. Okay, sorry.
Do you know of anyone that has had?
Oh, I know what you're gonna ask.
Their tattoo permanently preserved, so to speak.
That's not what I thought you were gonna ask.
There are some people they pass, they keep it.
Oh no. But on that, but I did a thing that would cross my mind when I was younger tattooing, I would think about, I wonder if I'll do something that will be like the identifying tattoo.
Oh.
And it can't.
And the plane crash.
Because there's so I tattooed in Chicago too, and that was the identifying, the Born to Raise Hell.
Oh.
Was the tattoo for the Richard Speck.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
God,
And
yeah.
so what's crazy about being there was I met a guy that came in the shop that had just turned 18 when that happened, and he had gotten a tattoo. And he was telling me that during that time, the Chicago Police Department was like, anybody that had a tattoo on their forearm, they were pulling them off the street and be like, who are you? Where are you from? On and on. So it was like crazy to think that's why I wonder if I'll ever do something that's like the identifying mark for some
kind of creepy
and you might
murder thing.
Probably not. I'm guessing not. That's not I'm not asking you to come to me. Believe me, I'll know, and you're not getting tattooed. But that's an interesting.
That is interesting.
I also wondered if that would be like how they would identify the body for someone, something that I had done.
In a crash.
Obviously, I would never know that, but it crossed a weird thing that crosses your mind.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've heard, you can verify if this is true, is that there are some people who ask for a loved one's ashes to be mixed into the ink.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Have you done that?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. That was a very limited basis type thing. That was like someone that I knew that was willing to do that.
Is that safe?
I'm sure it's just ash. We are just carbon life forms, and that's all that black is carbon. It's ground carbon, right? Basically just...
You're adding a little gray color to it.
Adding a little bit more carbon to it.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to
But I'm putting my
hell.
faith in the process of incineration.
Yeah.
I guess it's just flames that breaks you down.
Yeah.
But if it's just ashes, then that's all that the pigment is, just carbon. So you're just getting a little bit more. But yeah, I'm not looking to do that for absolutely everyone that's interested in doing it.
Okay.
In no way, shape, or form.
All right.
But it is a thing. Right?
It is a thing
wow.
for sure.
Well, on that happy note,
Yeah,
I really think we should wrap things
just
up.
there.
We've gone way over, so if you want to say something happy to get people out of the morbidity thoughts.
I have one other thought.
Okay.
What? You must have thoughts on someone's first tattoo. What should they at least be thinking about before they get that first tattoo?
I usually tell them, eat something.
But I thought you're not going to say, find a really good tattoo artist, make sure you like their work. No,
Do you
just
interview
have
people?
a sandwich.
Do you let them interview you first and say, no, we're not going to work together? I don't.
No, we work on a daily basis. There's always availability for tattooing there. So there's always someone there to answer questions. We just tell them to come by the shop. Because you can text and email and pigeons and all of that stuff. But to get tattooed, you have to come in.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so the sooner that you're there and you're in it, the sooner that we can figure out who's the best fit for you and what is it that you want and do all those things. So I just tell people, get to the shop. You can look at everyone's work online now. Post-pandemic, that you couldn't have portfolios on the counter no more because germs. And that was fine because then it was all digital. So you all have phones anyway. So here's our Instagram or here's our TikTok or whatever it is. Here's our MySpace page. You can see all my work there. But that's it. We just tell, just come into the shop. The same thing, look at the person's work. They've got to have some example of what they're doing, And if you like that, then the next thing is being at the shop so that you can meet the person that you're willing to put that into. And if it's great, boom, you found it. It's not that difficult. You found the person.
But it's great advice.
Yeah.
I appreciate
and probably
that.
There's people that really should be following that because that is phenomenal advice.
Yeah, just because your cousin tattoos in his kitchen doesn't mean he's any good at all.
And I'm glad that you're not open at 3 a.m.
Yeah, or that,
Right.
I have done that.
I'm sure.
I've worked that.
but-
I've worked all of that.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Donnie, what a
that's
pleasure.
funny.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
on the show.
much.
This was
Donnie
certainly
Kizzee.
worth our time.
Man.
Man.
Donnie, you're the best. Thanks,
Yeah.
Thank
man.
you so much. Thank you both so much.
You've been listening to Worth Your Time with Dr. Rob Shumaker and Kristi Lee. If you like what you hear, please give a review wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best compliment. Thanks to our producers, Chris Spangle of Leaders and Legends, LLC. You can reach him at leadersandlegends.net. Also, thanks to Sophie Ritz. I'm Christopher Geisen. Thanks for joining us.